Welcome back, Lelanders, to a new episode of Intellivision Amico content. Now today, before we begin the show, I'm just going to start pouring a little bit of a bottle of Moniac mead so we can have a drink while we get into this heavy topic. Now the Intellivision Amico video that I made got, I don't know, close to 500 views, tons of feedback. So I figured today we'll do a follow-up video. We'll try to answer all the comments and questions in the chat directly, because I noticed it's kind of getting on a runaway train of wild imagination, even wilder than mine. So I figure we clear up some of the misinformation. Now, and also in today's video, I just washed my glass so that I can pour some mead in it. Normally I drink right out of the bottle, but I figure we're feeling a bit classy today since we're talking about legal battles. So we'll go with a glass of mead. I'm going to go with half full because this is powerful mead. It's imported all the way from the UK. The UK? 14.5% alcohol. Holy shit. But we're going to drink it in moderation according to YouTube standards. Alright, so we'll try to finish this video reasonably quick, and we also got a bag of goodies. I went shopping tonight on our local newspaper ads, Kijiji they call it, and we got ourselves a bag of Intellivision games. Not even sure what all games are in it, so it'll be a bit of an adventure for the end of the show. So we got a bit of edibles in us, we got a bit of vaping, we got a bit of mead. Oh, it's going to be a wild ride. All right, so where do we begin first? Yeah, and we also did some follow-up questions for, what was it, the argument between Tommy and Pat and Ian, or I guess more specifically Pat, about the sales figures for the Intellivision. So we'll also cover that. And we'll look at the possibilities of the libels lawsuit. We'll get some more details on that. And we'll get some more information about the investment fraud. So we'll try to get some information for everyone, people that hate the Amico, for people that love the Amico, and for everyone in between like myself. Now, just to clarify, I'm a big Intellivision fan, big Tommy fan, not so big of a fan of the Amico. No, I'm pretty much borderline Amico hater, but I'm willing to give it a chance, just not only because I like Tommy and I like Intellivision, but really, we haven't played it yet, so we should give it a chance. Alright, so I think what we'll do is we'll jump right into the questions first from my last video, and hopefully we'll cover every topic as we answer those. So here what we'll do is we'll bring on screen my last video, and we'll try to make the comments bigger. Sorry if I show anything rude on here. I have no idea why my search history is always filled with boobs. I don't know how that happens. Alright, so here's an interesting opinion. This person brings up some good points. We'll try to cover them. So, can't see it because of where I am. There we go. Pat and Ian, the person's name is Rezo Tones. Or Tons? Rezo Tons. Anyways, Pat and Ian would never be liable for such a case. So here's another thing, like Pat and Ian, they often like to think that their word is gospel, whatever they say is true. But yes, Renzo Tons, as much as you would like to say that Pat and Ian would never be liable for such a case, the fact is you don't know, I don't know, the only person who would know would be a judge, and they would decide. There's no person in the viewer chat, maybe if you're a judge and you already know how cases normally go, or if you're a lawyer, maybe you have an idea of how cases go. But even in that case, you would not know. So just to clarify, false statement right off the bat, not to be mean or anything, but we're just going to say it like it is here. They would never be liable for such a case in Rezo Tone's opinion. See, this is where libel comes in, where you have to say it's in your opinion. See, you would be liable for something right here, right with your statement, allegedly, because you're trying to say something that's false. You're saying that they're never liable for such a case, but that is not a fact. We do not know. They may not be liable. That would be a more accurate statement, not prone to libel. They never talk deliberately defamations towards the Amico. Never defamation towards the Amico, eh? All right, so let's bring up the actual definition of defamation. So we just got an idea of like what the hell is defamation even defined as, right? Now, obviously, we're getting into two things where it's like libel and defamation. One's the written word, and one is just the actual publishment. And we're going to be referring more to the publishing because that's what Ian and Pat are doing, rather than just the written or just the statements. So let's bring up libel defamation. See if it matches anything that you've heard Pat and Ian bring up in towards the Amico, or even in Tommy in general, or the Intellivision company. All right, so let's see. It's expressed by print, writing, signs, effigies, or physical form. So basically publishing on YouTube. That is injurious to a person's reputation, exposes a person to public hatred, contempt, or ridicule, or injures a person's business or profession. So really, you're saying that the Pat and Ian have never said anything over the past 3 years of mocking the Intellivision Amico that would ruin the reputation, incite hatred, ridicule. Like, I don't know, like it could be just me, but that is the only thing I have ever seen the Intellivision coverage from Pat and Ian do. At the beginning, maybe they were more like unbiased, where it was some like, oh, maybe there's good points, maybe there's bad points. But it's pretty much been like a year and a half of solid ridicule towards the Amico and Tommy. Now, arguably so that it is rightly justified because Tommy's called it upon himself. But just to clarify, that is what they've been doing for like a year and a half. See, that's the thing. The viewer is bringing up a good point already, Mike G. If it turns out that Intellivision goes to court and it's found out that it is a scam and they were lying the whole time, then parts of what they said would be true and then it wouldn't be libel because what they said was true. But do they have any insider information? What we're getting at here is Pat and Ian, in a lot of cases, not only are they bad-mouthing Intellivision, Amico, but they're also offering, allegedly, investment advice, telling people not to invest in the company. And when you literally go on a YouTube channel, tell hundreds of thousands of viewers, maybe even 1 million viewers, not to invest in a company, that's pretty much the definition of ridiculing someone's company, exposing them to hatred, ruining their business or their profession. Like, not to make fun of it, like I agree, Pat and Ian, they're right in like 99% of it. I think that Amico was going to bomb too. I just think they worded it wrong, right? Like, there's a difference about making a video and saying a company might fail, and then there's a video mocking a company saying that it's going to fail and telling people not to invest in it, right? I think that's a fair assessment. I could be wrong. Yeah, see, when the difference between libel, like an opinion, is like, say if I say it might fail, it's my opinion that the Amico might fail. But if I go on a TV show or a YouTube channel and say, the Amico will fail, see, that's the difference between an opinion and a statement of fact, right? It's like if I say that it will fail, that's almost implying that I know something, right? So that's what one of the viewers was putting in the chat. Am I implying that Pat and Ian have known something? Well, that's basically what they've been implying, right? By saying that they know. It's like if you come out with someone and you say, you know what, I know that this stock is going to crash. People will be like, what? How do you know, right? That implies that like you have some sort of insider information. I'm not saying I know what Pat and Ian's insider information is. Maybe they're just saying it hypothetically and they really didn't know. So that's what I was thinking. Maybe Pat and Ian got words mixed up when they were talking. It's like when they were saying that they knew that the Intellivision was going to bomb. Did they actually know? It's like someone at the company was saying, oh yeah, this is going to fail, don't invest in it. And they had insider trading information. Or were they just, we know as in hypothetical, it looks like shit, so obviously we know it's going to fail. So that's the same thing. Like, I would agree, like, The same thing when you see other YouTubers that covered the Amico. You know how a lot of them just said, you know what, we don't think the Amico is going to do very well, and then they stopped covering it. But just the fact of doing episode after episode after episode, that almost makes it seem more malicious, right? It's sort of like if someone kicks your ass and they like rub it in your face once and then they leave and they never talk to you about it again. You'd be like, well, at least they kicked my ass, but it wasn't very malicious. But if that person came back like week after week and was like, remember when I kicked your ass and like rubbed in your face week after week after week for like 3 years on end, I think that's where the judge would be like, you know what? This is borderline pushing malicious behavior, right? Now, I could be wrong, but yeah. Let's see. Let's go up into a little bit more of the 3 elements. Now, to be fair, I don't even want this to go to a court case. We're just hypothetically covering it. And the fact that it was just Pat and Ian as the example, I was thinking maybe in this episode, really, I should use Rich's review tech as the next example, because he's quite funny as well. Not that I have anything against Rich either. I think his show is pretty good, but a lot of cases he breaks a lot of laws, like legally on YouTube, and I'm surprised he gets away with it, especially when he's like bragging about how other people are breaking laws and rubbing it in their face while he's breaking them. It's kind of funny. It's a little hypocritical. I know, because I'm a hypocrite too, so I like to call out what I'm most familiar with. All right, so the elements of a defamation case, that it's false. So yeah, that's what the other viewer was talking about. It would really determine, once we crack open the books on Amico, will we know, was the company outright lying, or were they really trying as hard as they can and it just failed miserably, right? That'll be one of the big things. And that's what I was thinking too. The Intellivision lawsuit against Pat and Ian or Rich or anyone wouldn't necessarily depend on whether or not it was a scam or not, but if people were saying that it wouldn't sell. Because yeah, you're always allowed to say your opinion that something will, like, you think it won't sell, right? But once you start crossing that line where you're telling people, you know what, I know that this will not sell. Especially if you're an industry expert. Like, say if I was that fishing company video guy, right? I'm making all these YouTube videos about fishing company material. And all of a sudden a fishing rod comes out by with my biggest competitor. And my biggest competitor, I'm like, you know what? Your fishing rod sucks balls. I looked at it and it definitely will not catch fish. And then I start going around and telling all my fishing show viewers that all of a sudden that they should not invest in this crowdfunding campaign because I've looked at the fishing rod and it will not catch fish. So I would just keep making a video over and over and over again. Well, then the guy that was my arch nemesis trying to release his fishing rod, he could release a defamation case. He could be like, you know what, this guy that's my arch nemesis in my fishing community, he's like maliciously posting videos saying that my rod will not catch fish and telling people not to invest in the company. And would he have a case? That would be up for the judge to decide, right? How many viewers would the guy's fishing channel have? How many people could he convince with his false information that that his rod would not catch fish? So that's the thing, when you say the Intellivision Amico will not sell, arguably that's false right off the bat because it already has pre-sales. Like, they literally had like sold out the crowdfunding, or the, what do they call it, the launch ones, the pre-release. The ones we covered in Hans' video last week, how he was bragging how it sold out in 5 hours. So telling people that Intellivision will not sell is factually an incorrect statement. Not only is the Amico is selling, but it's sold out within 5 hours in some cases. So you see where we're getting into. It doesn't matter if Pat and Ian are arguing about how many the Intellivision sold. That's not what the libel case would be about. It'd be more about making fun of Tommy, ruining his reputation, bashing the Intellivision Amico by saying it won't sell. Because yeah, you could say that it's a shitty console, shitty games. Fucking, you could even say it has lag probably at this point. But when you start going into the it won't sell, that's where you start stating something that isn't true, right? That's a false statement, a lie, ruining a company's reputation, resulting in tens of millions of dollars in damages, not only to the company itself, but also to the investors. So that's what I was thinking. I didn't realize how many people were pissed off about this investor video. I didn't even look at it on all sides. I thought I had. But there's people that are pissed at Intellivision. There's people that are pissed at, Pat and Ian. And then I realized that some of the people that are pissed at Pat and Ian, they're pissed because they invested money in the company, and it was the libel from Pat and Ian that ruined their investment opportunity. Because I know Pat and Ian are like, oh, it's a shitty opportunity, but still, some people actually legitimately believed, and still to this day, believe that Amico is a good investment. So they're literally shitting on their investment with libel statements, right? Arguably. That's just how we're looking at it. Now, I was thinking too, as a fan of retro games, as someone who just bought a big bag of Intellivision games, I want to see the ColecoVision come back one day. I want to see the Intellivision system and stuff do back one day. And when people shit on retro consoles in general, doesn't matter if it's the Amico or the Atari or the Coleco, it just kind of pisses me off. That's why I'm a little bit freaking biased. I'll try not to be super biased, but that's where I come from. See, Pat and Ian are right in a way that there's a lot of scams in the retro gaming community, but I don't think they're right that people don't want a new retro console. I want a new Coleco. I want a new Intellivision. I like the new Atari to a degree. I just wish it was better, obviously. Who doesn't? But all right, so now we're going to look at some of the stuff to actually save Pat and Ian's ass so that we're not just picking on Pat and Ian this whole episode. To correct one of the things that I got wrong last time. Oh, let's collect the first thing that I got wrong last time too. As another person put in here. Let's go to the person who put it. Well, we'll kind of jump around. I don't want to focus on one too many things. Some people are kind of funny. They're like, yeah, everyone should go to jail. It's like, no, I don't want anyone to go to jail, but they could, allegedly. We got some comments from Darius to cover. Here we go. A question or comment. Thank you. This is the one that helped clear up one of the comments. Or the arguments. So a comment here from Obsessive Compulsive Gamer. And what happened was when Tommy and Ian, or no, Tommy and Pat, yeah, that's it. When Tommy and Pat were arguing about the sales numbers of versus the Nintendo NES Classic versus the Intellivision, and then something about a 3 million sales figure came up, we found out what it was. One of the viewers pointed out is they were arguing about two different things. Was it Tommy and Pat were arguing about the classic numbers, and Tommy got it mixed up with the actual Intellivision numbers. Because we checked out the 3 million sales units, and we found out that's the Intellivision numbers, not the classic. And so what I did is I actually contacted the company that makes the Intellivision flashback so we could find out just exactly how many sales numbers it does have, clear up this debate once and for all. So does anyone want to guess who was right in the argument between Tommy and Pat and Ian, or I guess Pat, over the sales numbers of the classics or Intellivision flashback? Now, hopefully not to disclose anything that they didn't want public, but this is the actual email from the company, direct screenshot. So let's do it. All right, hopefully I didn't dox myself. I'm just kidding. Not that it matters. All the hot babes, they can wait in line. We got a line around the block, I swear. It's not the authorities, it's the hot babes wanting autographs. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so anyways, let's look at what do we got here? So I messaged Bill at AT Games. This is the company that makes the Intellivision flashback. And they responded back that as a private company, we do not release sales data to anyone. The 3 million figure you've seen is with the original Intellivision. So we can see here that the argument that Pat and Ian, or I guess Pat and Tommy, are having over the sales numbers of the flashback, it's not even settable debate. Nobody knows. So I thought that was kind of interesting that here we are, gamers arguing about how many the classics sold, and no one knows. It's like arguing how many stars there are in the night sky, or arguing about how many grains of sand there are on the beach. So it's kind of funny that how it got into such a malicious argument where Pat's just like freaking out and foaming at the mouth. And it was about an argument that no one knows the answer to. And what I did find out is that they also worked as a sales agreement with the dollar store in the US. So this Intellivision flashback game, it was dirt cheap. So they literally could have sold 10 million of these. Like, really, you're talking something that's sold at the dollar store, right? So that's what I found very interesting. I was thinking that the Intellivision flashback was a high-end electronic. No, it was a rather run-of-the-mill dollar store type item. You could get it for very cheap. When people are talking discount bin stuff, it's like, oh yeah, this is like bottom of the line discount bin. So I would not be surprised if they published maybe 10 million units. You would just guess, right? Like, how much things do you sell at a dollar store compared to actual electronics sold at like a high-end electronics store? Not to make fun of it, but I had to guess the Intellivision flashback probably sold 10 times the amount of the NES Classic just because of the price difference alone and the availability of being at all the dollar stores in the US. So who knows? I can't say one way or the other, but that's just how I was able to dig to the bottom of one argument so far. Oh fuck, why did all my shit disappear? It's like I had everything on the screen and it just vanished. I swear it has nothing to do with the edibles. Alright, so let's get on to the next part of it. There we go. I don't know why it just vanished. So thank you, Obsessive Compulsive Gamer. We were actually able to get a little bit to the bottom of that argument. We found out no one knows the answer. So when Pat and Tommy are foaming at the mouth at each other, they're arguing about something as obscure as how many stars there are in the sky. No one knows. But just to guess too, the Intellivision flashback did sell out. So however many they sold, not only did they sell them all, but they're still sold out to this day. If you go on Amazon stuff, try to get more, you can't. They're sold out. So yeah, it could be just because it's that old and they sold out in that amount of time. But yeah, you can't get any new ones. They're long gone. I messaged the company and asked them if they'd make more. No word yet. All right, so we do got more questions from the chat. Hot babes. Yeah, those guys were confused when they were arguing about that. They did not commission a second run. I remember they sold for 20 each at the end. Yeah, they resold only for 40 originally. Yeah, someone told me the problem with the Intellivision flashback, it was dollar store quality. Like, you would basically buy one every month because it wasn't going to last that long, which is kind of a shame, right? Like, let's bring up the company itself that makes those flashbacks. I got a few articles from them. What a fucking kick-ass company. Let's bring out some of their other products. So this AT company that made the flashback for Intellivision, they're still making Atari consoles. They got these other wicked flashback consoles. Yeah, and you can see that they're under 60 bucks or whatever usually. So I wish like Intellivision and Tommy would have worked with this company and like actually just made some real consoles right off the bat, like partnering with these guys. Because man, if they could have got some like actual physical cartridge type Intellivisions made by this company, get them off the line and running, holy shit, man, that would have been sweet. But I guess this company more focuses with ROMs, so like everyone makes fun of the ROM companies, but a lot of people do that. They just put ROMs on the shit, right? I guess sometimes they're licensed ROMs. Well, yeah, let's check into some more of the licensing that this AT company got and why Tommy and Amico should have partnered with them. Fuck, man, I couldn't even believe some of this shit. What the fuck, man?